So I thought I'd do another collection video because, I don't know, why not? So, as you can tell by the title and what's in front of you, this is my complete Smash Bros. Amiibo collection as of right now, which it's currently October 2025. I've been building this collection up for nearly 10 years, actually, and it's expanded quite a lot. So before I start the collection, I just want to say a couple things. Like, for characters that have their own Amiibo series, like Mario and Kirby, I'm just counting their versions in Smash Brothers. I'm not counting those or any random Amiibos like that. I'm just doing Smash Brothers. So, and for some of them, I'll kind of explain how I got them, but for the rest, I'll also say, hey, here's this character, then move on. So, yeah. I don't really have a lot to say, and this is going to be quite a long video, so let's get started. I'm actually going to start with my main in Smash Brothers, Pikachu. Pikachu, Mario, Kirby, Samus, and Link were, I think, the first 5 Amiibos I've ever had, actually. Oh yeah, also I'm going in a random order. Here we have Richter. Very nice looking. Speaking of, where is Mario? If I could find him. He's here. I just can't see him that well. Like I said, random order. Here is Kazuya. I am missing only some of the characters in here. Like, I'm missing Meta Knight, the Smash Bros. One. I'm missing, Ken. And so on. I'm not sure. I'll explain that once we get there. So here's Steve. And if I could find Alex. Here we go. Oop, I accidentally clunked them together. That's okay. So these two you could get together, which I think is a neat idea. The same goes for Pyra and Mythra, which those two alongside Sora I also don't have. Here we have Pit. Pit, back then, was really hard to get your hands on. I was actually able to get him, like, I think a year or two after that whole mess of Wave 2 Amiibo. So, yeah. Here we have a chunky boy, King K. Rool. The reason why I say that is because for some of these Amiibos like Bowser and King Dedede, they're big characters and they have a nice weight to them, which is cool. Okay, here is by far probably the hardest Amiibo to possibly get your hands on, if you're lucky, to not spend over $100 or something like that on eBay or even on Amazon. The Smash Brothers version of Rosalina and Luma. I'm well aware this was a Target exclusive back in Wave 3, and this Amiibo was, like, so hard to find that it was nearly impossible for everyone to get a hold of. Now, I didn't have this Amiibo back then. In fact, I got it a couple of years ago at a game store for like $30, and the price was a little high, but you know what? This is better than nothing, especially since this Amiibo is very hard to find, so. Oh yeah, one more thing I'll mention. I'm not going to explain what levels they are or what color I use for them, because I'm just like, here are the figures, and then move on. That's just kind of how I'm doing this here. Terry Bogard. Oh yeah, if for some reason they don't focus, I apologize. I'm trying to do this pretty quickly here. But I also kind of want to take my time as well. Here we have Falco. Hands off my prey. I couldn't resist saying the line. Oh, looks like Dark Pit got stuck to Ike here. I'll do him next. So Ike looks pretty sweet. I do have all the Fire Emblem characters, I believe. Okay, there's Dark Pit. And one more thing to note, like this bin, okay, I'm gonna take a pause for just a second. This bin, I haven't stored them in. Yeah, I haven't stored the figures in this bin for years. It's only been like maybe a couple years, but I've been careful, you know, trying to place them in there because for some of the carrying cases that I have, like the big Amiibo officially licensed ones, they couldn't exactly fit too well, and I just found this bin. I think it was empty in my house, or I bought it, I don't remember. And I used it, so. But I was being careful when putting them in here, so I guess that's a bit of a lesson here. if you plan on buying a shit ton of amiibos in general, or anything like that for that matter, please be careful if you're putting them in a big bin, because, you know, stuff like this could bend. But otherwise, like, it's not broken or anything. It's just kind of annoying to deal with, but that's what you're taking a bit of a risk here for. Here's Dark Pit. I am missing Palutena. I know she's easy to find, but I just kind of never really got around to buying her. Here is Roy. Very nice. Roy, I don't think was too bad for me to get my hands on. Here's Rob. Oh yeah, that's something to mention. For some of the characters that actually have different versions, like the Player 2 versions of Cloud, Bayonetta, and Corrin, I only have one version of them, and for Rob, I only have this version and not the Famicom one. The Famicom one does look sweet, but I never got around to getting it back then, so. I guess speaking of, where is Cloud? Oh, wait, hang on. No, that's Corrin. I saw him for a second. Hang on, let me get him out. I'll get to him next. Corrin was one I also got used, so. In fact, the only brand new amiibo I got for the final 3 characters was Bayonetta, believe it or not. Never got around to getting Cloud or, you know, Corrin or the Player 1 and 2 versions. This is the Advent Children Cloud. This is used. Well, I mean, I paid for it used, so. And I think these Player 2 versions are kind of hard to get your hands on, but not really. I'm not really sure, though. Well, at least I know. I know it was used. Here we have Pokemon Trainer. I do have Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard separately. And this does look pretty sweet. I guess I'll get them out. So here's Ivysaur, who is right here. Squirtle. Okay, well, there's Charizard. Hang on. It's... Yeah, when you have a bin... Okay, here he is. I was gonna say, when you have a bin this big, it's pretty hard to see what figures you're looking for. You know, we'll do one at a time. See a Squirtle. Very cool. Here we have Ivysaur. And Charizard, which I got from Smash 4, not from Ultimate or anything, so that's why he's in this pose and not the one from Ultimate. So, yeah, I started collecting these since, well, Smash 4 was when this all happened. So I've been collecting these since, I think, middle school, if I remember correctly. And, yeah, I've had these for years and years, for the ones way back in Smash 4 when they were first released. Here's Joker. I really love the design of this one. The blue fire fits really well. One of my favorites, probably, for the DLC characters. Speaking of, here is Min Min, who looks very cool. I don't know if anyone has heard me talk about this. I might have mentioned it. I really did wish we would have gotten Springtron or Mechanica or something like that for ARMS, but you know what? It's been years. I'm cool with it. I don't really care. It's nice to have an ARMS character in the game. Here's Byleth. Yes, his sword is a bit bent, but it's not broken. That's all that matters. Let's see. Okay, I guess since I did Cloud, here's Sephiroth. I banged my camera by accident. His just looks phenomenal right here. Here's something I haven't mentioned. If we had the English voice actor for Sephiroth in Smash Bros., that would have been even more cool, but it's a shame they only did the Japanese voice actor. That's such a shame, really. Such a shame. Mewtwo. I think he was kind of easy to get my hands on. I'm not sure, though, for most of these. Here we have Pac-Man. Pretty simple, but I like him. I guess we'll do more Pokemon. Incineroar, and yeah, apologies if I accidentally touch my phone or anything like such. I legit don't mean to do that. Incineroar was, like, kind of my main around the time Ultimate came out. Because, like, he was just so cool. I mean, even though my starter was, Poplio for Alola. But yeah, I don't know. There was something cool about Incineroar. Like, maybe it's just the way he played. Maybe it's because, like, I thought he was pretty badass looking or whatever. But, yeah, he was my main for a while until I switched over to Pikachu. Because I had a hard time kind of having a main in Smash Brothers. But now it's Pikachu. And I guess whoever else I feel like playing as. I almost grabbed another figure. But anyway, here is Peach. I do have Daisy, who's, like, I think the newest Amiibo I got. Again, like a couple years ago. If I can... Oh, okay, I see her. She was right under Young Link. Yeah, Daisy took me a while to find. I just found this randomly at a Target. And I got it. I am missing Ken. That's the other Echo Fighter I am missing. Here is my favorite Zelda character to play as, Young Link. Not in Melee, but in Ultimate, mind you, because... I hate to go off topic again, but I'm sorry. I played Ultimate a few times at an arcade and even one time back in high school in my first year in Teen Social Group. And I'm not a fan of the GameCube controls. They're not terrible. They're just kind of confusing. Like, just give me a Switch Pro controller. I'll play a lot better. Yeah. Sorry, I never really liked the GameCube controls. Despite me having a freaking adapter, but yeah. Here is Sheik. Sheik also was pretty tough to get your hands on. So, that's that. Here was another rare Amiibo to get your hands on back in the day. Captain Falcon. The literal only F-Zero character we will probably get in Smash Brothers. Just Captain Falcon. It would be cool if we got was it Black Shadow or Dark Shadow? Yeah, Black Shadow. Would be cool if we got him or, Deathborn. That would be pretty sweet, but for now, though, we just have Captain Falcon. I'm fine with it. Here we have Piranha Plant. This Amiibo does look really sweet, and I'm happy he's in the game, because he was kind of like a fun little enemy to make, videos for. But now he's known for being a character in Smash Brothers, and being fun. I don't know what else you want me to say about that. Here is Crumb. This is actually my favorite Fire Emblem Amiibo. Like, just take a look at this. The way he's designed looks really cool, but also the cape. The cape here just looks phenomenal. I love how it's sculpted and everything. Like, you can make this into any sort of pose like that, and it would just look really cool. I know he's an Echo Fighter of Roy, but he's my favorite Fire Emblem character to play as in Smash Brothers. Also, it's Chrom. Chrom is cool in general. Here is... Oh, I guess speaking of cool, here we have the Ice Climbers. It's cool to see them get merchandise. Even though this will probably be the only piece of merchandise we'll ever get for Ice Climbers. And Nintendo, please make a second game. I would actually like to see that. The first game was pretty good. Give us a second game. Give us more characters. Give us a story, please. And don't make it over $60. That's ridiculous. Anyway, King Dedede. I think I got him pretty decently, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure, though. Here is, alright, I guess going back to the links. Here we have Link. Yeah, it is a little weird why he has a yellow stand. I know the Japanese one has a clear stand, and that's something I should mention. For Robin and Lucina, I actually got them from Japan because at the time I couldn't get them in America. And I will say this, if anyone also does want to get Smash Brothers Amiibos, but you're curious, like, what'll happen if you buy from a different region, they work the exact same way. It doesn't matter which region you get, because they'll have the same packaging, they'll have the same design. The only difference is that the language is just going to be in a different language. It's not going to be in English, so otherwise they're region-free. They work perfectly fine. Here is Wolf O'Donnell, and, not super big into him. Sorry. I don't really like him that much. Okay, well, I used to like him, but now I kind of don't really care about that. Here is Bayonetta. I think they did an awesome job with this one. So, there's that. Maybe one day if another Smash Bros. Game does come out, maybe we'll get her in the third game art style. Maybe we'll get one for Bayonetta 3, I don't know. Here's Ridley. I do have Samus and Zero Suit Samus, as well as Dark Samus. So, you'll see them sooner or later. Ness here. Ness Boy. He was a GameStop exclusive back in Wave 4, and he was a tough figure to get your hands on. So, I think I got him. I accidentally dropped him and Pit knocked over. I think I got him at GameStop, but I found him pretty... I think either there was one left or I found him easily. I legit cannot remember. So, here is Donkey Kong. I got a banana! So there's that. He's another pretty easy one to get your hands on. Isabelle? If I can get her. There she is. I actually prefer her over Villager. That's just my opinion. Even though Villager's moveset is a bit better, but oh well. Here is Bowser Jr. There's no Amiibo for the Koopalings, but I think that's fine. Honestly, you just need Junior, and I think you're all set. Oh, while we're here, here's Villager. Now, this Villager is different because this is actually the remade version. I didn't get Villager back when Wave 1 came out, because also he was hard to find back then. But, his eyes were a bit bigger than this. So, this was, I think, when Wave 4 or 5 came out. And I can't remember if it was Toys R Us only, but they remade him with the different eyes, and he was actually a lot more easy to find. So, that's how I was able to get him that way. And I'm actually happy I waited, because now, that other one I think might be easy to find. I'm not sure, though. But this one, I know you can probably get your hands on also pretty well. Here is, oh, okay, I meant to get Dr. Mario, who we'll get to. So here's the one of two only Japanese amiibos that I have. It is Lucina. And is there, like, any way to tell? Yeah, see, I don't know if you could tell, but it doesn't show any, like, I don't have the packaging for these anymore. I threw them out once I got them. But, it's all English, so I thought maybe there would be something in Japanese, but I guess not. Here is Dr. Mario. He looks pretty cool. Here is, Zelda. So, don't really have a lot to say about her. Might as well finish up Zelda while we're at it. So here is Toon Link. And wait, what is that? I don't know if I didn't notice that till now. I don't know what that is on his hair. It's not really that big a deal, but I don't know what that is. He was the first one of Wave 3, and he was pretty easy, I think, to get your hands on, back then. Again, I'm legit just guessing here. Here's Robin. Again, the other Japanese amiibo that I have. And let's see, Martha's, I think, the only one I haven't shown yet. I think, okay, I see him. Okay. Here is Marth. Does look pretty sick, not gonna lie. Here is, okay, I guess this is a good time. The Mii Fighter 3-pack, which consisted of the Mii Brawler, Mii Sword Fighter, and Mii Gunner. And you had to get them together. But also, just like the Miis in the game, either Smash 4 or in Ultimate, you can actually customize it just like the Mii Fighter. So, like, you just had to pick a Mii that would fit into each category. That's like your moves and so forth, pretty much. It's like having your very own amiibo, and you could customize it whenever you want, which I think is really cool. So here's the Mii Gunner. Here's the Sword Fighter. I had to move his sword up a bit. And finally, the Brawler. So, the only other 3-pack is actually Rob, Duck Hunt, and Mr. Game & Watch. Let me find Duck Hunt. Okay, I guess. Let me at least find... Okay, there we go. I found Simon! While I was trying to find Duck Hunt. So, Simon looks really cool. Love this. A little bit better than Richter, because, like, the whip is out, and, like, you kind of pose with it. I don't know. Looks pretty sick. Here is Duck Hunt. He looks very cool. Here we have Olimar. This, actually, I think I also got this in Japanese, if I remember correctly. Online. I'm not sure, though. This one's pretty cool, too. You can, like, kind of pose him because he's walking. So, I don't know. Here we have the Inkling. Don't really have a lot to say about the Inklings, but there you go. I think we're, like... Well, we're definitely mostly halfway through, so I'd say less than halfway through now. So here's the big man himself, Mr. Mayro. And you can definitely tell, obviously, that this is not the ultimate pose where he's jumping and kicking. That's the one with the fire. So, yeah. And I have Luigi, if I can find him, that is. Okay, I see him. Luigi! He's doing the plank, which was like his main pose in Smash 4. And I think that's legitimately funny. That's a taunt, and also... Well, it's a taunt, and also a victory pose that he does as well. Here's Yoshi. It's a shame the black Yoshi skin was cut from Ultimate. I would have loved to select that. It's like, oh, fuck Mario, I'm in Smash Brothers. Like, Black Yoshi from SML. I don't know why they removed it. I guess it's to make room for Craft Yoshi. I'm not sure, though. Here's Jigglypuff, and this was a Target exclusive back in Wave 4, I think, or 5. No, it's definitely Wave 4. So, yeah. I guess while we're on topic of pink, here is Kirby. And yeah, like I mentioned, he alongside Mario, Link, Samus, and Pikachu were the first, like, 5 Amiibos I've ever had in my collection. And I am legitimately happy about that, because Kirby and Samus are actually pretty hard to find. Maybe not now, but, like, back then, a little while after Wave 1 came out, it was pretty tough to get your hands on both of them in particular. Here's Sonic. Gotta go fast! Okay, thank you. Thank you, Amiibo Sonic. Here we have Bowser. I literally drew a blank on him for a moment. And he's a bit of a big figure too. So, like DDD and K. Rool, it's got a decent weight to it. Here we have Lucas. Very cool. Well, I mean, this was like a part of the final wave, pretty much, before Core and Cloud and Bayonetta. And to round out Zelda, here we have my least favorite character, Ganondorf. The Amiibo does look pretty sweet, but I'm not too big on him in general. So that's just my opinion. Here we have Ryu. I remember him being pretty tough to get, actually, back then. Well, when Smash 4 had the DLC, mind you. Here is... okay, I grabbed 2 at once. Here's Lucario. Don't really have a lot to say about Lucario. Here we have Zero Suit Samus. Let's see. Okay. We'll get the Metroid line out of the way. So here's Dark Samus. This also looks very sweet, not gonna lie. I like how it looks. Actually, I'm kind of holding it up close. I don't know if you could tell. It's kind of shiny, somewhat. I don't know. Glossy, if nothing else. Here we have Samus herself. And her power armor. Looks a little... Alright, looks a little slanted. I might have to fix that. I don't know. Here we have Diddy Kong, who was a pretty easy one to get back then. I don't know why that's yellow either, but there you go. So, alright, here's one that I don't like, and I know I didn't necessarily have to get him, but, well, I don't know, it's Smash Brothers. I kind of wanted to get the whole collection. Banjo and Kazooie, for anyone that doesn't know, I don't like these two that much. At all. That's just simply my opinion. I know my best friend John loves them, and that's fine, but... yeah, I don't like Banjo-Kazooie that much at all. I never really was interested in their game at any point during my lifetime. In fact, I didn't even know they existed until, like, around... when I was, like, maybe around 13 or something, when I checked that SML's Nintendo 64 video. Okay, maybe not, like, that young. Maybe, like, 15 or something. I don't know. So... and, yeah, like I said, I don't really care about Banjo-Kazooie that much. I could say, oh, the Jiggy's a nice touch, but I don't care. Move on. Get over there. Alright, we are almost finished. Here we have Mega Man, an actual good character that I actually like. Oh, another thing to mention, when I saw the Direct for when Banjo got revealed alongside, I think, Hero, I was way more excited for Hero, but I was actually pissed that Banjo got in the game. So that sucks for me. Speaking of, here's Hero. I love playing as Dragon Quest XI Hero. He looks great. It kind of would have been cool if we got the other three heroes as separate amiibos. I think that would have been actually pretty sick, but you know what? It's alright. We have one version of Hero. I think that'll do, and I don't know what happened to you, Shulk. The Monado is a bit bent. Yeah, well, that's the risk you take when trying to store them, but... oh, well, anyway, here's Shulk, who was a GameStop exclusive and was a bitch to find. Mennonite back then, I know, was a Best Buy exclusive. So, here's another one. Granger was a Toys R Us exclusive. Although, I actually remember getting him around the time it came out, because it was pretty easy. So that's that. Here we have Wario. This one looks really cool. I love the overalls one more than like the bike outfit from WarioWare. This is my opinion. Alright, we only have, I think, about like 5 left actually. Here we have the final Star Fox character, Fox. So, don't really have a lot to say about him. Here we have Solid Snake. Kind of would have been cool if we had Raiden. I think he actually would have been a great fit for the game. But you know what? I'm happy with Solid Snake. I liked playing as him in Brawl. Because if anyone doesn't know, Brawl was actually the very first game in the Smash franchise for me. It was in the early 2010s. Here is Little Mac, who was definitely a hard amiibo to get your hands on at the time. In fact, it took me a couple years to actually find him, I think. Alright, here is Wii Fit Trainer. So, don't really have a lot more to say about her. Alright, this is it. Our final two. Here is Pichu. That actually rhymed. This is probably like the smallest amiibo to get your hands on. Because Pichu's so small. So. And the last one is actually... Yeesh, I need to clean this bin out. I'll deal with that later. Here is the last one, Mr. Game & Watch. So remember that 3-pack I mentioned? Well, you get Mr. Game & Watch, Duck Hunt, and Rob, but also you get different plates for the amiibo base. Like, let's say you don't want the Smash Brothers pose by default. Let's say you want the hammer. I actually might have put it in wrong. Yeah, see? There you go. It clicks in just like that. Because that's what the base actually does look like. Here is the bell. I think I'm putting this in wrong. No, okay. I'm just making sure. Here's the parachute. Okay, I think I am actually putting this in wrong. Yeah, there we go. So, and they didn't really need to do this, but you know what? For the Mr. Game & Watch fans, I'm sure it's really appreciated, so. That is it. That is my current Amiibo collection for Smash Brothers. If for some reason there is another game and there's more characters, then maybe I'll update my collection, but I don't plan on doing that now. And I definitely don't plan on doing it when I get another 1 or 2 extra Amiibos. That's ridiculous, but if I do, then maybe I'll just make a post about it or something, but yeah, and you know what? I feel like shooting this too, so I'm actually in another room in my house, and I've been storing them up like this for the whole video, so just take a look at this. This is every single Amiibo that I have lined up. Well, except you, but anyway. Yeah, just get a look at that. So that is everything that I have to offer. So, very long video. And also, I do have an extra video about the I almost said Smash 64. Smash 4 Amiibo video, but I'm not going to work on the recording right now. I'll do that probably when this is uploaded. So, with all that being said and done, I will see y'all later avoid the next time, and that'll be all for now.